Hey, what's up guys, Rampedi here. We're back with another episode. Tell me, which names are definitely going to AFCON? Let's go.
That's how it goes?
They keep asking about the best when they know it's me.
Okay.
Asking about the rest when they know it's me.
Straight in, I guess.
You know it's me.
It's international break, and that means the focus is all on Bafana Bafana. They're the topic. Yes, they play two friendlies. One draw, one win. And you can see the game against DRC, that was Hugo Broos's strongest 11, or the players that he trusts the most, versus the ones against Namibia. He was giving chance to players. And I think with these friendlies that are coming up, he's going to use that opportunity. Why are they playing friendlies? Because they've already qualified for AFCON. So we're going to AFCON. Bafana Bafana is going to be there. But I have to say, just watching the players, I spoke about it over the weekend. The hunger is not, it's not there. They're playing like a side that's already qualified. And one of the things that frustrates me when it comes to Bafana Bafana is the fact that are you all players aware that you're not going to AFCON? Not all of you are going. There's only going to be 23 that go. So when players are playing the opportunity, they're not grabbing it. It's a problem for me because they're supposed to create that competition. You're supposed to make sure the players that are already in the squad don't feel safe. And when we talk about being safe, I've gathered up a list and I thought to myself, okay, players that are guaranteed in my eyes that are going to AFCON for sure, provided they don't get any injuries. And at the last tournament, 28 players were called up because of COVID, but previously it was 23-man squad. And I think it's going to go to 23-man squad. The names that I've put up together, Williams, Motwa, in goal. I think they're definitely going to go. You look at that defense, somehow he trusts Lulu. I think Morena's going to make his comeback. And obviously Moby, you guys know he's definitely going to be there. The midfield as well, Luke Leroux, despite his injuries, I think he's definitely going to be back. And that's the forward line as well that I've put together. Foster Tau, Mayambela. I think those ones are secured. Now, with that being said, there's only 6 spots left. There's only 6 spots left for everybody else in the country to fight. And that is what I want to see. I want to see you guys not only just grab the opportunity, but make players feel comfortable. Make them feel like it's not safe for them because the chance is definitely there. So for the rest of the year, I ask for the players, all of you South Africans, I said, please, let's just make the squad a little bit more competitive. Let's make it seem like we all want to be there. Let's just show a little bit more heart. That's all I just want. We're going to need that because we're going to the AFCON next year. A FIFA sports management student played a crucial role in growing Idiski Times, David Kappel. I asked him, does South Africa have a successor for Hugo Broos? And he actually came up with a name. So, we have another guest on Playing the Field with Shakes, an international editor, a FIFA sports management student is what he calls himself. I call this guy, he ties himself with the Idiski Times. David Kappel, how are you doing?
I'm good, Shakes. How are you? It's an honor to speak to you, to be on this show.
No, man, it's a pleasure for you to be on the show, man. The work that you do, I highly do respect that. There's always something that I always wanted to ask. If I say David Kappel and I say Idiski Times, what's the relationship with that?
Look, I'm working at Idiski Times as head of digital and head of social media. So everything that comes across on the website and on our social channels, I have something to do with it. We started very small in 2021. It was just me working on the website and Rob Delport on the newspaper with Velile Mnyandu. And we've grown quite nicely into a nice team. Website is growing. Twitter, we started on 3,000 followers. Now we have 143,000. So things are going well and shaping up nicely. And, I'm the guy, behind the scenes, that tells the journalists, go to this game, try get that story, which transfer rumor, and so on and so on.
And trust you me, we're seeing it. You have to see it because they're definitely everywhere. Now, on the football front, I've always wanted to ask this question. Are you surprised at how far Mamelodi Sundowns is from everybody else? And also, do you think that they could go invincible this season while within the league?
Look, I think when you look at Sundowns, it's definitely, something that they've built over the years. I think, it's year and year of good work, of exceptional work, of, going the extra mile, having really qualified people all around, not just Rulani Mokoena as the head coach, who I hold in high regard, but, the whole technical team and also, the people in the background you saw yesterday, they got a new head of academy, someone that worked, at top level club sporting in Lisbon, with Cristiano Ronaldo, the Portuguese football association. You can see, obviously it costs money and there is money behind it, which is important and cannot be neglected. But you can see the ambitions of the club are really high. I think they want to become one of the, if not the best club in Africa, or, over the next 10 years. And you see it in the local game, that it bears fruits where they, under Rulani, they have only lost one game so far since he's taken over as head coach. They've selected a great squad, and, they have a great foundation now also, where they look even more to incorporate young players, together with the big signings that they make, and it's really an exciting project.
No, 100%. So, do you think they ever going to be beat this season in the league? Because it looks like not. No.
Look, for me, the target of Sundowns this season shouldn't necessarily be to go unbeaten in the league. For me, their main target really has to be the CAF Champions League.
Yeah.
And why I say that, obviously, I know they have tried to win it again for a second time, and they have, failed in quarterfinals and semifinal last season. But, if they reach the final at least this season, they would automatically qualify for the extended FIFA Club World Cup, and that has a huge repercussions because it's the extended tournament. So that would mean you can play against teams like Manchester City, Real Madrid, top teams from South America, top teams from Saudi, and it's that, it's not just the 7 teams anymore. It's I think it's 24 teams from next year. And that must really be the target, in my opinion, for Mamelodi Sundowns, if they want to be that top club in Africa, because Al Ahly have qualified, Wydad Casablanca have qualified. Now is 2 more spots available. If we're lucky, maybe Pirates and Sundowns could both grab those spots. That would be the dream scenario for South African football.
No, you brought up Orlando Pirates, and they're the next team that I sort of want to focus on as well. How much of a chance do you give Orlando Pirates to defend the MTN8? Virtually they're in the final after the 2-1 away win, but take nothing away from Stellenbosch. But how much of a chance do you give Orlando Pirates to defend the MTN8?
Look, they have a good chance. They have a great squad. They were already strong last season. I think, after some early struggles, they fully bought into what Jose Rivera has been trying to do. When Scott Skickleday, the strikers coach, came in, you saw sort of like a switch. The strikers all of a sudden were scoring. Maybe he helped them understand Rivera's philosophy a bit better. They were clicking. You can see it now. They are free scoring. Lepasa all of a sudden has 10 goals already this season.
No, definitely. I think they've got every chance. Zakhele Lepasa, a man who's on form, a man who's now arguably maybe South Africa's one of the most important players within Bafana Bafana setup as well. He's already on 10 goals for Orlando Pirates in all competitions. And we're not even in October yet. If I was to ask you, David, how many goals can this man score by the end of the season, realistically?
Look, having started with 10, in the first month of the season, his target must surely be, to get to 25 and 30. And I know that sounds like a high number for South African football because not a lot of people have reached it. But, as Rivera keeps on saying in his press conferences, he's surrounded by quality and he has the confidence. And I think we must also credit Hugo Bross, because when Lepasa wasn't scoring at club level, was on loan at SuperSport, wasn't really wanted at Pirates, Hugo Bross said, I don't understand why this guy has struggles at the club because he runs so much. He does so much work for the team. He can score. He's fast and so on. And now we see all of that coming to fruit. So I think really injury forbidden, he should target at least 25 goals this season.
No, 100%. I fully agree with that. And the target of 25 to 30 goals, I do agree with that as well. Kaizer Chiefs, this is most supported club in the country. They've been undefeated for the last 3 games, getting 6 points and avoiding defeat against Mamelodi Sundowns with less possession. So if I was to ask you, David, because I think I saw one of your tweets the one time at halftime during Mamelodi Sundowns, the amount of possession that they had. Is that the best? Is Ntseki using the squad the best way possible? Transitional football, less possession. Is that the best way?
I think he's trying his best with what he has available. I think if you look, compare this season to last season, they have definitely signed better players, better quality. But I do think fans should go away from the expectation. And I think it came a bit with other Zwane, because Zwane always said, Kaizer Chiefs have to play in a certain way. They can't just win games, they have to dominate games. But at this point, where you haven't won a trophy in 8 years in a row, I think you should go back from that. And I think that's sort of what Ntseki is doing, with the transitional football. He's focusing on results. I used to play, at semi-professional level, and we had a coach that hammered into us, your first target must be avoiding to lose, avoid to lose, get a good run going, without defeats, and build the momentum and build the confidence. And I think that's what Ntseki is trying to do. He's not really focused right now on, possessions and dominating the play, but to have a stable defense, to avoid defeats, because that was one of the issues with Chiefs last season. 12 losses in the league was the highest in the PSL era. So I think he's trying there. They have signed better, and but he came in quite late. In the preseason was about to start. It was like they wasted a month or a month and a half, trying to find whether we're going with someone else, whether we continue with Zwane. I question myself whether they had enough preseason friendlies, because the ones that we saw on TV in the African tour, he was still like changing formations and so on. It looked like he hadn't found his best formation. And I think now he's sort of there at that point, where obviously a fit Ashley Dupree helps them a lot. They obviously want also Ranga, Shivavaro, who's out injured. He was supposed to be the main striker.
I mean, before I jump onto Bafana Bafana, Kaizer Chiefs, any hope they get to the final of the MTN8?
Look, it's a once-off game now. Obviously, Sundowns have the away goal advantage.
Yeah.
But, in the game of football, anything is possible. Chiefs have shown that they are more resilient at the back, and they have scored in both games against Sundowns without really creating many chances. Now they know they need to create more because they have to score. So in theory, it's possible that they can reach the final. I do think personally, though, that Sundowns aren't too strong. I think also after missing out on this trophy last season, they want to reach the final. They want to show, that they are with Pirates. I think right now the 2 best teams in the country. Would be a great final for all of us to see. But yeah, like I said, in football, you never know. Maybe, Chiefs have find Sundowns on an off day and can score 1 or 2, and then we may have a Soweto derby in the final.
Hey, maybe so. Tell me something. This is a question that I don't think people speak about enough. Regarding Bafana Bafana, Hugo Bush has come in. He's gotten a lot of victories. He's got us qualified to the AFCON as well. But the interesting question is 2026. It's like after AFCON, what happens then? And I asked this question because I think he's 71 years old, I think. And if he goes to the next World Cup, he would be regarded the oldest coach to have been at the tournament. Is there a succession plan for Bafana Bafana with regards to Hugo? How do you see it? Should we, after AFCON, look for someone else? Like, who's the best candidate? How do you view the whole situation?
Look, I think he's done really well. I mean, I know he's not the easiest character, and he had to learn also to adjust to South African, football fraternity, football media. In the beginning, you could really see that he didn't actually know all the players. So he went through a phase of 3-4 months, where he was scouting, where he was getting advice from other people, where he was building a squad based on players that did well in COSAFA. But now you can see he really has a strong core group. And, this is one of the strongest squads we have had in a long time. Several players overseas, Lyle Foster doing well, Percy Tau, Mayambela. So there is really something to build on. And I mean, when he signed, his two targets were, this coming AFCON and qualification for the 2026 World Cup. So I don't think whatever happens at AFCON, unless something really drastic happens, that he would walk away. I have a good feeling that if they can continue on this path, that they can make it out of the group stages, maybe surprise one or two of the, traditional bigger African teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he should also do well, in the World Cup qualification. For me, the question is, can they qualify for the World Cup? And if they do, what happens after 2026? But I mean, we've seen with Morena Ramoreboli, who was now at the COSAFA Cup, again for the second time. There is someone that has already done well with Bafana. So maybe he would be someone to look at. He is sort of groomed a little bit into the setup. He's playing CAF Champions League. He's won the league title in Botswana.
Last question, David, that I wanted to ask you as well is plagiarism in sports journalism. I know you've been big on it before. I mean, how much of a problem is it in South Africa that this is coming? Because someone starts a page from out of the blue and then takes exactly what David wrote, copies it on his page, but he also gets the likes, he gets the retweets and stuff. How much of a problem is that becoming in South African sports journalism?
Look, it's quite a big issue, and it's quite annoying, because obviously, like I said, we are a small team, but we do make the effort to send the journalists to the press conferences and to the games, and then you have other, not even publications, or, you have individuals, but also publications, actually, that are just at home and, wait for the audio to come through various channels, wait for the quotes to go up on Idiski Times, and you see 10 minutes later, it's the same story with the same quotes on another page, and that does, it's annoying, it's frustrating. Sadly, there's not much that we can do. Sometimes we try, if we see, word for some other publication using our quotes word for word, to have a word with the editor, and often we get a positive response. But yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be like that. If you want to work as a journalist, and you want to work in the sphere, you should do it the ethical way. You should, try and source your own content, source your own interviews. I spent time in the very beginning of Idiski Times. I was listening to all the radio shows. I made a point of Robert Marava 5:30, Metro FM at 6, and then it was Tabiso Mosia at 7. That was like my evening routine, trying to arrange my schedule with my kids and everything. And then I would sit there and type out what they were saying, because I see, radio shows, they have some connections with the clubs that we can't have as a publication. For example, the Kaizer Chiefs coach is more likely to go there than speak to us, due to various reasons. So I use that almost like a press conference. Someone else asked the question, but I can, write a story. So I sit then and type it out. And then, like I said, 10 minutes later, I see the same story with the same quote, someone that didn't even listen to the radio show, sadly, there's not much I can do about it, but ask, the people to, respect other people's work, credit the source, credit the secondary source, and just do the right thing,
No, man, I feel you, and I see it becoming a huge problem as well within journalism within South Africa as well. Sports specifically, some people don't want to necessarily do the work. But David, man, thank you so much for coming on to the show. Really do appreciate it. I must tell you before you go, when I saw that you're following me on Twitter, I could not believe my eyes, because you're one of the few journalists I really respect in South Africa, man.
No, thank you so much, and keep up the great work. I always see the videos. I see your opinions on football. We need more people like you, that are invested in the game, that want to grow with the game, and just keep up the good work. And this won't be the last chat.
100%. We'll talk throughout the season, man. Please do keep well. All the best, and keep growing that page to 2 million followers, man.
That's the target right there.
All right, thanks, man.
It's time for Bet of the Week. Get ready to win big by placing the right bets on the right games.
So the slip is ready for this week. Guys, I've left out international football. I'm not doing these games on Wednesday. I'm not doing the games on Thursday. I'm going straight to club football weekend. That's what I know best. I've gone with the safe bet slip, but funny enough, the odds are pretty decent. Bayern going up against Leverkusen. I've gone with Bayern or draw and over 1.5. Fulham going up against Luton. Fulham straight win. Inter against AC Milan. Either Inter to win or AC Milan to win. Barcelona against Real Betis. I've gone Barca straight win. Real Madrid against Real Sociedad. Jude Bellingham bring it home. I think Real Madrid win that one. The odds 6.71. I think it's time we win. And if you want to do that with me, click on the link below.
Remember to practice responsible betting at betway.co.za.
We've come to the end of the show, but tell me, who are the best 3 South African players right now? When I answer that question this week, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified for future episodes.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
We believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
We believe.
I believe.
Believe in the Bucks with a risk-free bet, and if they lose, we'll refund you in cash. Betway, official Springbok sponsors.